Yes.
And do you recall you made that statement to Seth Kenny?
Yes.
How many calls and how many calls, let's start with that, did you have with Alec Baldwin after the shooting?
Maybe 3.
And did you discuss the facts of what happened with him?
It was more theorizing because we both didn't know what happened. He mainly would call and ask questions that I didn't have answers to.
He was asking questions about the events and what might have happened, right?
Correct.
Did you ask him questions?
No.
You also texted with him several times. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall also making a statement on or about October 23rd, 2021, that you had talked to Alec and he's having a difficult time recalling things, like most of us, but he thinks that Dave handed him the gun?
I don't know who that was with.
If I showed you a text message, would that refresh your memory?
Yes.
May I approach you?
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, I'm going to show you, I'm asking you not to read it out loud, but just read the top text. And when you're done reading, just let us know. Are you finished?
Yes.
And if I can have it back. Thank you. Does that refresh your memory?
It does.
Okay. Do you recall making the statement that you had talked to Alec and he's having a difficult time recalling things like most of us, but he thinks that Dave handed him the gun?
I do.
And you recall making that with Seth Kenny?
Yes.
Okay. After the shooting occurred and the incident occurred, did you go back on or about October 27th for the search of the prop truck?
That would have to be the day that the police were there.
And you may not recall the day, but do you recall it being 5 or 6 days after the shooting?
I don't recall the day.
Okay. Prior to going, did you provide the code to the safe to Seth Kenny?
I believe I did.
Before you had provided him that code, who had the code to the safe?
Hannah, me, and Nicole.
You then gave the code to Seth Kenny. Did you give that code to anyone else?
I don't think so.
The prop truck search happens. Are you present for that search?
They were there before I got there. They had already started the process.
When you got there, was Seth Kenny there?
Yes.
Did you retrieve some of your personal belongings that day?
Not until after the police cleared out.
Okay. Before that search, had you retrieved some of your personal belongings from the set?
I had attempted to go back because everyone else was able to go back to their trucks to retrieve their things, but ours was still locked, so I was not able to retrieve anything.
Okay. Ultimately, you did retrieve your property?
Correct.
Okay. At one point, there was a negligent discharge on set we've heard about, and that involved you handling a firearm, is that right?
Yes.
And again, you were trying to let the hammer down and you had your finger on the trigger and then it went off, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was with one of the revolvers?
Correct.
After that, didn't you have a disagreement with Miss Gutierrez Reed?
A small one, yes.
Did you thereafter have discussions with people about wanting to fire Hannah?
I didn't want to fire her. I had my disagreements with her, but I never actually fired her. or wanted to.
Okay, you said you didn't want to fire her?
No.
Do you recall being interviewed on November 2nd, 2023 in this case?
Yes.
And you were asked the question, okay, did you want to fire her? Your answer is yes, and that's on page 19, 2 to 3. Did you want to fire her? You said yes.
Okay.
Do you recall saying that?
I do.
Okay, so is it true then that you wanted to fire her?
From props, yes.
Okay, but a second ago you said you had not made that statement, but
Yeah, I'm correcting myself now.
okay. So the reality is that you had wanted to fire her.
From props.
Yes. And other people had wanted to fire her as well, right?
From set, or
Just in general.
I believe Seth wanted me to do something about it, yes.
And I think what you just stated is you did not do anything, ultimately.
I did not know.
One of the reasons why you had wanted to fire Hannah is that you didn't feel she was doing enough with her props duties.
Correct.
And you communicated that to Hannah as well, right?
I did not.
You did not tell her that? That you wanted her to do more in her props duties?
I don't think I actually told her that. I just had asked her to do things and she didn't want to do them.
Did you know that Hannah and Gabrielle